Hey everyone, it's Jess. No, not my first YouTube video of 2025, but my first What Sold on eBay video of 2026. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember what year it is. I'm excited to do this. One of my goals for 2026 is to be more consistent with content, and these What Sold on eBay videos are really fun and easy to do. I'm going to try and do them once a month so you can see what some of our best sales were of the month prior. Not always our highest dollar value sales, but some good stories, some interesting things, and maybe those will give you some things to look for when you're outsourcing. So, with that, let's get right to our top sales of December 2025. Okay, I want to share this sale because I'm so bad at sourcing vintage garments. I know that GWG Kings is an older, it's a Canadian brand, right? I think so. Correct me if I'm wrong. Vintage, not really my thing. Like, I know how to recognize when something's vintage, but I don't always know how to recognize if it's good vintage. Apparel just hasn't really been something I've studied a lot and I've been sourcing for a long time and haven't really focused too much on it. I don't remember where this jacket came from. It might have been an estate sale, but it's kind of just common sense in the world of reselling that vintage denim is going to be worth something. So I don't know if I undersold this jacket or not, but I did end up getting $70 for it. I'm pretty happy with that. It's a bit distressed. I think that's a look that people are maybe going for. Judging by the label, I dated it to the 1960s. I hope that I was right. Pretty cool sale here that I'm proud of. I'm kind of starting to get to know clothing and apparel a little bit better, especially as we're pushing towards more Poshmark sales. Apparel is cheap, easy to find, so it's worth knowing more about. Anyway, I'm happy with this sale. And we do actually have some GWG Kings jeans that are, I think, from the 70s, and those are brand new with tags. Those have been sitting in our store for some time, and I think that's something I might have to go and look at and see if I can tweak the listings and maybe make those sales happen as well. All right, another garbage find. I like this one. Cassettes are interesting. A lot of them are not worth money. I guess it's kind of like records and CDs. But if you know what you're looking for, you can definitely find some good stuff. Me as a 90s rock grunge girl, huge fan of Nine Inch Nails. So when these came out of a pile of cassettes that had been thrown away, I was pretty excited. And I was pretty excited to see that the cardboard sleeve for the Downward Spiral album was still intact. That's very frequently missing. These sold overseas, I want to say maybe to Korea or Taiwan or Japan, something like that. And I think I sold them for too little because they sold in just a few hours for full price, US $60. So this is an example of something that will be putting on .com. Media is tariff free going to the US. So this was an easy one, a no-brainer to put on .com. And even though it didn't sell to the United States, chances are that it being on .com gave it a little bit of extra visibility and helped it sell quickly. So very happy with that. So over the last couple of summers, or maybe over about the period of a year, we kept purchasing bits and pieces of a Star Wars collection. And I don't know the whole story behind where this collection came from, but it was something that had been abandoned by someone who lived in an apartment and I guess had passed away. So we bought quite a lot of the Star Wars collection, and there were some really great pieces in there, some going all the way back, like going back to original 1977, 79, 81, 83, like all those original toys from the original trilogy. And a lot of them were still factory sealed, which was pretty exciting to get. This one's not. Leia has been taken out of her box, and I knew that because her belt was on. And when she was originally sold, the belt was separate inside the box in a little baggie or something. So somebody had taken it out, put the belt on, put her back in the box. Over time, you can see the cellophane. It broke down. It was had some damage. The box has a little bit of damage, but this is an old piece. We're going back to 1979, the year I was born, you guys. That's how long ago. And I probably undersold this one as well, but we had it up in the store for a long time. This was actually one that I had on .com and then transferred over to .ca. Over the holidays, I was trying to make some really good sales in the store, so I priced basically everything in the store at 30% off, and that helped this one leave. Happy buyer, I think. I'm happy with this. I do notice that on ebay.com, they do tend to sell for a little bit more, but like most things, we had made our money back many times over from the purchase of this collection, and we'd had her for quite some time. So I was pretty happy to see her get out the door. Why am I sharing this one? I just think this was interesting. So, home decor is not, it's another area that I'm not super well versed in. But if I find something that's brand new, I'm always going to be a little bit curious about it. And these tapestry curtains from Sears were brand new, I think from like 2002 or 2004, something like that. The pattern I think is really ugly. I also think it's out of date. I don't think this is a stylish pattern, but I put these in the store for $50 and they sold within, I want to say like a week or two, like a lot faster than I expected them to. I'm really happy that I rescued these from the landfill. From they were destined for the landfill. Another great junk pick. I'm really glad that I saved them. Anything that's brand new, I'm always going to look into a little bit more, and I'm never going to, turn my nose up at $50, especially turning it over that quickly. I'm going to share this Hot Wheels sale. We had a number of die-cast sales in December. Not surprising because people tend to purchase Hot Wheels as gifts. Um, but this was interesting. So the Hot Wheels and Matchbox, all the die-cast cars were part of my big project to move everything over from .com to .ca, which I worked on in September and October. I lowered the prices significantly on these die-cast cars because, again, these are collections that we've made our money on over and over again over the past few years. A lot of these were pretty old listings. They had been up in the store for like 2, 3, 5 years, and some even a little bit more. And so at the holiday time, I thought I'm going to take all these old listings and again put them at 30% off and see if they go. And we actually managed to sell quite a lot of die cast this way. So I was pretty happy about it. $55.99 I think is low for this. I don't care. I'm sure that the buyer got it for a Christmas present and hopefully whoever received it was very happy with it. It's just one of several die cast sales that we've had over the month of December. I was frustrated because after I moved all of those listings over to .ca, they weren't selling at all, even though I had significantly lowered the prices. So I was kind of keeping my fingers crossed that as we got into the Christmas holidays, that I would see an uptick in sales and start moving some of these items. I did. I'm very happy about it. In fact, we had a couple of very large die-cast sales. There was a buyer in Poland who purchased over 2 transactions, I think over 20 of our listings. And one of my most favorite buyers right now is a fellow in Toronto who buys all kinds of things from us. If you're there, hello, who purchased over 20 listings from us right at the end of December. So that was just really great. So I so appreciated getting these old listings out the door. The price almost didn't matter. And especially when a buyer's putting, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20 things in their basket and buying them all at once. Yeah, it's a huge package and it takes a little while to make, but it's so worth it to see like $500 or $1,000 just kind of like walking out the door. Those days are always great, especially when we've had these collections for so long. We are way into the profit on them and they're going to a happy home. So this was a good sale for me. I was pleased about that. This one I kind of have a funny story about. So this is another junk pick, and this was a brand new, I believe, brand new old stock anime pencil case. And older anime stuff I know can have some value. It's just a pencil case made in Japan, but it was kind of interesting. It was a really hard one to find with Google Lens. We only found a couple of examples of it online, and the pricing was quite unclear. So I wasn't really sure what to price this at, but I was like, $50 for a pencil case is definitely something I'm never going to sneeze at. Funny thing about this one, though, the item was going to the US, so they had to pay tariffs, additional 15% on it because the tariffs from Japan, I believe, are 15%, or maybe it was 19. Anyway, they were very upset about having to pay tariffs. They made an offer of, I think, $48 on this. I took it. And then they started complaining about the tariffs. And then they said they wanted an additional discount because they had to pay the tariffs. And I just said, well, no, I'm not subsidizing that. Like, the tariffs are the tariffs. Like, I'm not going to take a financial hit because you have to pay tariffs. And this is what I told them. And I was pretty blunt about it, to be honest. Like, I don't need to be sweetness and light about this stuff. I get it. It sucks for Americans and it sucks for us too. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to pay partially for somebody else's tariffs. It's not going to happen. So don't ask. Please, if you're listening and you're in America, please don't ask. Anyway, they were really upset about it, and they said that I was a terrible seller, and I should give them a discount on it because it's so unfair that they have to pay tariffs. And I'm like, look, I can cancel your order. Like, it's fine. I will sell it to somebody else eventually. And they said, well, I'm getting it for a Christmas present, so I'll buy it. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. And where else are you going to find this particular piece? Tariffs or no tariffs? If there had been no tariffs in place and the de minimis was still intact, I probably would have priced this for $80 or $90, and there would have been absolutely no difference. So wherever you are, I hope you're happy, and I hope that the person who received this absolutely loved their gift. Moving on. This is interesting. So a bunch of years ago, like I want to say 7 or 8 years ago now, we bought a locker that had a whole bunch of Russian memorabilia in it and collectibles, like pretty interesting stuff. Most of it was from the 70s and 80s, but there was some stuff that was quite a bit earlier. And I didn't spend a whole lot of time trying to figure out all these posters. There was actually quite a large Cold War era poster collection in this locker. We still have most of it. And I had listed a few of these posters, kind of not really knowing what they were. And actually, back at that time, Google Translate didn't work really well. So I wasn't able to get a really accurate translation of what this poster said. Later on, I learned that it is Ukrainian, not Russian. Oops. Whoopsie. So I got that right, updated the listing, moved it to .ca because that was in the fall. Changed the information on there so that it was accurate, and it didn't take that long to sell for over $100. And despite all the creasing and wear on this poster, I was really happy to get $100 for that. It's really interesting subject matter. Like, it has to do with like getting kids into farming animals, and it's some sort of like government sanctioned program that I guess they were doing in the 1950s. So pretty interesting piece. Definitely a tough one to find. Okay, so this I'm sharing, this one and the next one, these are related in kind of a funny way. So the golf club and the belt. Both of these are junk picks. These were collections. So one day there was, I think it was over 40 of these golf club heads that were being thrown out. And I think they were maybe demo clubs, possibly, because some of them had like a few light scratches on them. So it may have come from a golf store or something like that. That was just getting rid of, I guess, their models that were 2 or 3 years old, or demo clubs that they weren't demoing anymore. That's just my guess. Anyway, they were mostly 7 irons, with a few others, and we've been selling these between $40 and $80, depending on the brand and the condition of them, for a couple of months now. And I was actually surprised at how well these sold. I wasn't sure if somebody would be interested in just buying a head. You got to the tool, and you got to attach it to the shaft, and you got to basically build your club. But surprisingly, these have actually done pretty well. And Hanma is a great brand. So we sold a few of these in December. We've been selling them since, I think, November or October is when we picked those up. Actually, it might have been earlier than that, now that I think about it. Anyway, I was thinking, they're not going to sell in the fall, but they do. I guess it's always golf season somewhere. And although interestingly, they've mostly sold to Canada, so I can't explain it, but I'm happy about it. There were dozens of them. We've probably sold about half. And then this is very similar. So this was another sort of collection that had been thrown out, and all of these belts were designer brands. So we had Zigzagna and Etro, and this one is Ferragamo. There were actually 2 Ferragamos in there. So really great brands. And even though you can see on this one that there is some staining on the back of the belt, it didn't affect the front of the belt. So the front of the belt was looking really good. And this sold for $80. They're all selling between $30 and $100. And I think there were 16 of them in total. So that was an awesome pickup. And I think we've sold about half of those. So I guess these were good gifts, or good for people going to, formal Christmas parties or things like that. So maybe the timing was also good on these. We haven't sold one in a couple of weeks, I don't think, but they'll go, and they don't take up a whole lot of space. So again, another sale that I'm really happy with. Oh, this one I'm going to share just because it's funny. I can't believe anybody wears a ski one piece. Like, I don't know. Have you ever done this? I couldn't. How do you go to the bathroom? Anyway, I don't really even want to think about that. I just don't understand why anyone would choose to wear a ski one piece. Maybe they bought this for a costume, but this is a pretty cool item. This old Nils ski wear women's ski suit for a very small person. It was just a size 4, but this was made in USA, so I was able to list it on .com and not have to worry about any tariff situation. Awesome color. This, like, my pictures don't even do it justice. This like shiny green. Do y'all remember this from like 1992? I mean, it's just so epically vintage. I love it. I actually can't believe that it took that long to sell, but US $63.99 for a garment that was in the trash, people. In the trash. We'll never complain. All right, I got 2 more for you. Another trash find, and this was right at the end of December. Sims, which is a brand I hadn't heard of till we found this. Super expensive. This little backpack, it's pretty small. It's like, it sells for like $270 or something. I put this up for $99.99. It sold in like 20 minutes. Oopsie. I feel kind of stupid about that because it's in like new condition. And I knew that they retailed for $270. So I really don't know why I priced it so low. Sometimes I just price stuff to go, but it's not like this takes up a lot of space. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, I hope that the buyer is really happy because this was an awesome little backpack that I could not believe somebody was throwing out. Absolutely nothing wrong with this backpack. Worked perfectly. Basically looked like it had never been used. And one more garbage find. And this one is crazy. So we're getting a little bit into like computer stuff because people throw away their computer stuff. And it's just incredible like how recent some of the technology is that they throw away. This computer was a little bit older. I feel like this was maybe like a 2015 model or something, but gaming computers, gaming laptops, some of the components in these can still be worth quite a bit of money. The graphics cards and things like that. And we have a friend who's really good at sort of checking that everything works, and then he does a quick factory reset, and then we're good to go. So this Acer gaming laptop, I sold it 10% off, but it had only been listed for maybe like 2 or 3 weeks when I sold it. $360 in the garbage. You guys, I can't even. It's crazy. I love what I do. Anyway, those are some of the highlights of our sales in December. I would love to know yours. Please share, leave a comment, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to get more of these videos. Tell me more of what you're looking for, and I will try to produce it. These are really fun to do, so I promise to do them more. Bye. Want more videos like this? Make sure to click like, subscribe, and leave a comment below to tell me what you want to see more of.